How are you feeling as we approach the end of 2022? The answer is probably cold, but ice and frost aside, how are you feeling about the year that's ending? It's been one of huge change for us all. We celebrated the reign of our longest serving monarch, and 3 months later, we mourned her death. At the same time, we witnessed the arrival and the departure of the shortest term government of recent decades, and we're on our third Prime Minister of the year. We've had to adjust to the brutal reality of war being waged in Europe and to the presence among us of Ukrainians who have fled the conflict. Energy costs have soared, and inflation is having an impact on food prices. And we're living through an advent calendar of industrial action. In other words, there has been a whole range of events which have had a massive impact upon us, but over which most of us have had no control whatever. I guess them's the breaks, as Mr. Johnson said when he left office. Powerlessness is often the lot of ordinary citizens. What I find more frustrating is that within my personal life and my working life, there have been events, there has been stuff over which equally I seem to have little or no control. For example, some of you will have heard me speak about the Cathedral's Measure 2021, the legislation which sets out how English cathedrals are to be governed and administered in the future. Some of you will have heard me speak about it ad nauseam. Well, at the beginning of this year, I had hoped that by today we would be fully compliant with the measure, that we would be a new charity registered with the Charity Commission, with new governing documents and new structures in place. And we aren't. A delay here, a setback there, a reappraisal somewhere else, and we haven't quite made it. We will have done by the end of January, and that will still put us ahead of most other cathedrals in England, but it's not what I'd hoped for. And the trouble is, when we feel as though life is slipping away from us and that we have no purchase on it, it's very easy to become despondent and disillusioned. It's the end of the year, and what was the point? I often fail, but I try to conduct a personal examen every evening. It's a prayerful way of reflecting on the day that's ending, and it begins with thinking through those things in the last 24 hours for which I want to thank God. In the last few days, I've tried to offset the frustrations of 2022 by doing this for my working life this year. And I'm grateful for so much. An extraordinary flower festival, thousands coming to Sarum Lights, summer visitor numbers far beyond what we'd hoped for, with record levels of visitor satisfaction. Our first full-strength Holy Week since the pandemic. the enthronement of a new bishop, From Darkness to Light, the Southern Cathedrals Festival, an amazing series of organ concerts, and those remarkable 10 days following the death of the late Queen. In so many ways, it's been a terrible year. But in a terrible year, there is still much to be thankful for. And being thankful for it changes how we feel about the rest. I mean, what's charity registration compared with all that other good news? I hope that as Christmas approaches, you'll find time to be still and to recall everything that has been welcome about this year. Because memories of past blessings fuel the magic of Christmas. My colleagues and I have hugely enjoyed offering these reflections day by day during the pandemic and week by week more recently. We've decided that the time is right to draw this series to a close and to look for new ways of being in touch with you all. So this is the last of the weekly reflections, but I and all of us thank you for your company. It's one of those things for which I'm deeply grateful at the end of this year. May God bless you, and may you have a very happy Christmas.